Andrew here from Craps Down Under. Today I'm going to run through a progression called Oscar's Grind. It's a positive progression. It was first published, I think, 1965, somewhere around there, by a gambling mathematician. He documented what this guy called Oscar did. It's actually also known as Hoyle's Press, I believe. It's the same play. And apparently this guy, Oscar, was fairly successful with it. And other people have since obviously played it. It's a fairly popular play. It's very conservative, but it's intended to kind of just make a very conservative win fairly reliably at the casino. Obviously, if you play it many thousands of times, there is a chance that you may have a loss. The evidence I've seen suggests about 75% of the time you'll come home with a win, so that's not too bad. I've got a $1,000 bankroll, so I'm going to play it out. We're just going to play pass line. Get started, grab some dice, and I'll explain it as we go. So we're on the 8, and it's really only an up as you win progression, and it's same bets on a loss. That's pretty simple. There's only a couple of little rules. So that's a 9. But it's one of these plays that it's a very slow game. It's a slow grind. It's very conservative. It's just about trying to grind out a win and do it fairly reliably. So that's the intention of it. And 5. See if we can hit that 8 or if we get a 7, whatever comes first. I actually hope we get a few losses because then you'll see the progression. I'm sure we will. Midnights. And there's our 7, so that's our first loss. So what I'll do, I'll just park the loss there so we can keep track of that. So all we do is same bet on a loss. It's always same bet on a loss. Now we're on the 6 this time. Alright, so just shooting for a 6. We've got the 8. Got the 10. Came hard. Oh, back-to-back hard 10s. You'd be loving that. If you're on the hardies, you'd love it. It looks like a 5. It's a bit hard. Well, it's come to a 6. It was looking like a 5, but it's actually come to 6. So I'll just take it as it's fallen. And we get paid on that one. So instead of paying it from the bank, I'll pay it from our loss. So as you can see, we don't have any losses left. And the idea on a win, you always go up 1 unit. It's only 1 unit that you go up. However, in the case that you're not trying to recover any previous loss, you only ever go up as much as you need to make 1 unit. And this whole game, this whole play is about just making 1 unit. So given we had our win, we recovered our loss, we only need to basically same bet this time because we're not allowed to go beyond that 1 unit of profit. And the reason for that is you can have runs that can continue on and you always are just trying to play very conservative. It's just one hit. So there we go, we got our 1 hit and we're done. So we completed our series, starting bankroll back at 1,000, and we've got 25 on the felt ready to go. So that's our 1 unit of profit. As an indication of what you'd kind of look for, I probably would only go to somewhere around 750 drawdown, trying to make about half my bankroll. 500 would be kind of a reasonable target. You obviously don't have to go to 500. If you want a shorter game, go to 300, but that's kind of the ballpark. So if you're going to win 3 for every 1 you lose, if I'm going to lose 750 when you lose, if you say that's my stop loss, 750, my profit target's somewhere around 500, but it might take you a long time to get there. This is a slow game, so it is called a grind. It's Oscar's Grind. And it is ideal for even chance bets. Pick the don't pass or the pass line, take your pick. You could play by buying the 4 and 10 against the 7, or you could even lay the 4 and 10 going for the 7 and hoping you don't get knocked off on the 4 and 10. They're all 50-50 type bets. So they are possible to do. I still think you're best to use one of these two bets here because of the lowest house edge. So I think it's definitely best to stick with low house edge, especially with a grinder strategy that this is. There we go. Got our point, so we're done. Made our profit. We're happy about that. So as you can see, if I pull this back, 2 units, we're already up 50 bucks, which I haven't really seen much yet. So let's see if we can rack up some losses. So we're on the 6, 8, 5. There's our midnight. And we made the point again. So far, oil, as you can see, oil's pressed. It's just gonna play. We want a unit, so that's great. We'll take that unit, rack him up. So obviously now we're 3 units up. It's not bad, 75 bucks. And the point of this is, you can go in every day and do your grind to make your bit of income, and be happy with that. Obviously you could play larger units and you can play smaller. You can play $10 units. You can play 20 buck units, 30 bucks. Pick whatever unit size you have a bankroll for, and try and keep that sort of ratio of if you're going to bring in a say a $1,000 bankroll, I'm looking to make somewhere around 500, no more than that. That's kind of a reasonable ballpark to be in. So you're going to kind of risk 750, 800 to make 500. It's somewhere around that sort of ratio is kind of where you want to be. 8. But obviously just tune it to what you're comfortable with. You'll play it, practice it, see if it's something you'd even want to play, because it's a fairly boring play. But I can guarantee you, if you're able to build up a bankroll over time, potentially you could be playing with black chips, and black chips will be exciting. So again, we win. Put that in our rack. So right now I've already made 100 bucks. It's a bit uneventful at the moment, so we'll just keep going. There's our 7, so we lose that one. All right. So again, what do we do on a loss? It's always same bet. Always same bet. Never go up on a loss with this one. It's always same betting. On the 4, so hopefully we'll miss this one and we'll see us rack up some losses. Yes, beautiful. We missed that one too. That's our second loser. So same bet. So we're just coasting along at whatever level we're at. We just keep same betting. All right, 5. 5's the point. Hopefully we'll see us sort of win one, lose one. We'll see a little bit of action. I'm hoping we'll see how this rolls out. 6. 9. 6 again. 6 again. Came hard this time. And we got the point. So, all right. So we're going to get paid. So we get paid, I'll just take the loss back that we've had there and pay the bet. Now, when we look at our accumulated loss, and this is something you have to do in your rack, you'll have to either use some white chips or use a pad and pen or something and just keep track. You do need to keep track of your loss so you know what you've got to get to as your target of 1 unit. So here we see, look, okay, if I clear this unit and if I play these 2 units here, I'm going to clear this, I'm going to make 1 unit of profit. So that's great. So I'll just do that. We go up a unit because we've had a win. So we always go up on a win by 1 unit, unless going up would make us win more than 1 unit. So you've got to trim it back down to so you're only ever trying to win 1 unit. And that's how this strategy controls risk. Doesn't accelerate away, doesn't get carried away with anything. It's really conservative. So 10. So here we might see this lose, which is be good, So I do want to see us kind of lose a little bit. 9, 8, 4, 5, 8, midnight. Come on, 7, 5. I want this to lose. I want to see this dig a bit of a hole so we can see how this plays out. 8, 6, 6 back to back, 9, nice long roll, 6 again, my goodness, this is a, and 6 again, so you'd be loving this. 8, so what a hot shooter. 9, 10, and we still managed to hit the point, so this shooter's on fire, my goodness. So that's great. He's going to basically win his 2 units. Go back, so now we start over at base level, 1 unit. We're doing all right. We've got $100 in the rack plus 25 on the felt, so we're already up 125. We haven't really had to grind too much. It's been sort of coming our way. We just haven't had much losses, but let's hopefully see it dig a bit of a hole. And it's not going to dig much of a hole. That's the thing. The whole point of Hoyle's press or Oscar's grind is to not dig too much of a hole. But you are going to. The idea of it is to recover your wins in less hits than it took to get your losses, because it does go up on a win. So there we go. We lost that one. Go back down, it's always same bet. Whatever level you're at, you're always same betting. 9, oops, that was a 9, that was a 5. Come back 5, there we are, it's a 5, 4, 9. There's a 5. 8. And there's our 7, beautiful. I lost another one. All right, same bet it. And awesome, so we're losing a few, this is good. Because we'll get to see how this Oscar's grind works. So there we go, we won one, so I'll take one back. So when I look at that, so we've only got 2 units of loss left, plus we've got to make a unit of profit, so we really kind of need to make 3 units. So obviously 2 units is less than 3, so that's okay, we'll just add our win to our bet there. So we're going to bet 2 units now. Try and recover our losses in less hits than it took us to create the losses. Now, of course, this is where you can get the case where you now have another series of losses, and you're having your losses at a higher level. So we'll see how that. Hopefully, we'll get a few of those, and you'll see that happen. So 6 was the point. So on the 6, ace deuce. 9, 5, and 7 out. Awesome. So this is exactly what I want to see. I want to see this lose. That's the only way you kind of see how the strategy will play out. The whole point of this is to see how it handles losses and recovers those losses. So again, because we're at the 2 unit level, we're always playing at the same level. We stay at that level. Aces, great, we lost another one on the come out. So we same bet it. Now the more conservative player may want to even bring more bankroll than if you're going to play at this level. A real conservative player might decide, well look, I'll bring 1,500 and I'll risk 1,000. So you're going to pick your levels, pick what you're comfortable to, what your target session win is, and also what your stop loss is. So you need to kind of you know, work that out for yourself, what you think a stop loss should be. On the 8, so I've got a nice little run of losses here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 units of loss. So this is a nice one. We'll see how this recovers. 6. Midnight. 5. 9. And there's our 7. Another loss. Chalk up another loss. So this is good. We're going to start to see how we can fight our way back, or how this grind fights its way back. So there's a come out 7. So we win that one. So we'll take this one back. We go up 1 unit. We will rack a unit, right? It's always going up 1 unit on a win. Now obviously, we've got quite a few units to win back. So 3 units is only going to get rid of these 3. So we don't need to keep it smaller than 3. So we'll keep going up until, if we're going up a unit, that we would win 1 unit. If we were to win 2 units, then we wouldn't go up. We'd just pocket it in our rack. So always being aware of what your target is really important. 8. So we got it. So we'll take these 3 here. Great. So guess what? We've got 3 on the felt already. We need to clear these 3 and make our 1 unit of profit. So going up the 1 unit this time, we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to go up, but we'll rack these 2, come back. So if we actually get another win, we've actually cleared all those losses, that string of losses. And remember, this is a 50-50 bet. So I've had a string of losses, and the loss streak could go a lot longer than what we've seen there. But you'll actually see how this kind of recovers. Now, it may not recover. It might now get another loss at this higher level. And that's the interesting part to see. I want to see if we get some losses at a higher level. So you can kind of see how that works as well. I mean, it's not really that high. And the other thing with this is you can actually just say, well, look, I don't want to bet more than 6 units. There's nothing that says you have to go beyond 6 units. Or you might say, oh, I like to do 10 units because you bought in a bigger bankroll. Or you might say, oh, no, I've got a smaller bankroll. Okay, well, I'll only go to 5 units. But you need to go and have a bit of leeway there. You've got to have enough that you can kind of recover your losses. You know, it doesn't take too many hits to recover all those losses. But, you know, somewhere around 5 or 6 to 10 is probably okay. From what I've read, playing Oscar's grind, you're probably better off to not put a cap, but just have a session loss limit. That's kind of the preferred method, that you kind of let it go, and if you get to the end of your rope, then you get to the end of your rope, and you just accept that as that's a losing session, and you come back another day, because if you're going to win 3 out of 4 is kind of the average potentially. You might actually get better than that, but if you're going to win that kind of ratio, then that's okay. You just come and fight another day. 7, so there's an example. So we just dug a bit bigger hole there. So we thought we were going to get out of the woods, but not quite. So again, we're same betting at 4 units. And this is where you'll see it sort of potentially go backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. If you get wins and losses, it'll just get going sort of backwards and forwards a bit. And we've got 7 out. So another loss. There we go. It's starting to get a little bit more expensive. Every one of those is $100. $5. 4. And there's a 7. I lose another one. Oops. Grab another 4 units. Plonk them down. come out 7. So take that one back, go up a unit. Oh, got another one. When this kind of happens, need to, we'll take that one back. And we go up a unit because I can see it's still safe to go up 1 unit. And that's what the strategy says. You keep going up a unit on a win. 8. So even with this, if we get a win here and we make the point, we still won't have generated our unit of profit. We'll only be clearing out our losses. 4. We've got the point. That tends to be what happens because you've had a massive series of losses, and at some point things will kind of balance out at some point. Doesn't mean they'll balance out immediately. Might take might go a lot longer, but it is hard for the house to continue to maintain an advantage over you on a 50-50 bet, 10 or 20 times in a row. It's a pretty freaky event, and you just have to accept that it's a freaky event when that happens. So now we go back down. We've basically cleared our debt. We're just trying to make 1 unit here. So we basically haven't made our unit yet. We're just still trying to make it. And we've got to come out 7 again. So made our unit, and then we start over. So if we look at what we've got in our rack, we've done okay. We've got 150 bucks. So that's kind of how the grind works, Oscar's grind. Play a little bit more, see how we go. Oh, so this is it's turned around for us. Getting yos and come out 7s, can't complain, but we did have a run of losses too. So, but did you notice how quickly we kind of recovered the losses? It was far less success events to overcome the losses than the loss events we sustained. It took a number of hits to build up those losses, but we actually got back very quickly. Doesn't mean we may not have continued to have more losses. That can always happen. 3 doesn't affect us. So I'll probably do this as our last point or last win, because I've shown pretty much all there is to see with this strategy. But it is a fairly conservative play. I think it's a fairly safe play. Can I say it's always going to win? Of course not. Nothing always wins. But it's a very safe play. And you could mix this in with some other things if you want to do that. Use this as your bread and butter play. Obviously make sure you've got some additional bankroll and you're keeping it kind of separate in your rack somehow. Keep it separate. If you want to play some other action, make sure you've got enough action to play this as well as maybe something else. But if you're just going there to try and lock up a few hundred bucks without too much risk, then this might be the kind of play that might be useful to you. And it's not like over straight away. Some people like to go to the table and take their time and enjoy a bit of time at the table. They don't want to go and do 1 or 2 bets. They want to, take their time. So it kind of suits that player as well. Another yo. 5. All the low numbers, 5. 5. Loving that 5. And a yo again. What is it with the 5s and the yos? And we made the point. So, again, it's going really well for us at this point. So I'll also take all that back and say, look, there, we're done. We're basically about halfway through what our target was of $500. But, we've got 200 bucks. That's 20%. 20%, we can't complain. Well, maybe we'll play this a tiny bit longer. Just let's see if we see what happens. Oh, come out 7. It's just straight up win. Oh, another come out 7. Straight up win. On the 6. That's an 8. That's a back-to-back 8. Excuse me. 5. 8 again. Loving the 8 this time. And there's our 7. So we lose that one. Put another one there. New shooter coming out. Now come out 7. So we get that one back. Straight in our rack because we don't have to recover any losses. We're just here to make 1 unit. So we leave 1 unit there. On the 6. So there's no real heroics with this strategy. And back to back. So there we go. So look, we've made half our bankroll. I'm going to call it quits. All right, we've locked up a reasonable win fairly safely, right? So 275 bucks. It's a nice win in anyone's language. It's, you know, did we risk a little bit? Yeah, we got a little bit down here. And, you know, we were at some point betting at that sort of 4 unit level. And I think then we got up to a 5 unit level. So you might sort of say, well, maybe that's your comfort level to only go 5 units, you know, with this sort of bankroll. And that's fair enough. I wouldn't have a problem with there. You just cap it and you go, well, I'm not going to go beyond 5. And I'll just keep treading water at 5 until we get that win. And that'll then recover my previous loss. And then you go up another unit, maybe to 6. You know, it's really up to you where you want to put your tolerances. So I'd say if you want to play this, you've got to practice it. You've got to work out what you're comfortable with and obviously work out how it's going to play with your bankroll. But the general parameters would be whatever you want to win, I'd kind of have your loss as sort of double what you're targeting to win. So given I was, you know, the goal is to win 500, that's why I kind of had the 1,000 there to kind of be that. Well, that would be my loss target. Somewhere around that 750, I'd be kind of thinking, oh, maybe it's not my day today, and time to go home. Try to give it a rest or do something else, and maybe have another session later if you're super motivated to do that after losing $700-800 bucks. But it's it's going to be fairly consistent in turning a profit. It's not always going to make a profit. I've got to stress that there's no magic holy grail here, but it is fairly consistent in how it plays out, and it's actually known to be fairly good as a grinder strategy. So we've just shown it there that it can certainly make some money. Yes, we had favourable rolls, but you know, we also had some not favourable rolls as well. So you're going to find adversity, but today we prevailed. So there you go, there's the Oscars grind. I'm going to do some more progressions in my upcoming videos. So there's another progression I want to share with you, which is different than, I haven't seen anyone else do this for crap. So I'm certainly going to cover that. So it's a little bit more complicated to do it, but I think it's a pretty good play. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks for watching.